Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Offsiders Podcast. Welcome back to season 2.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Well, we're not doing episodes, but
Yes.
essentially episode 2. Episode 2. It wouldn't be named episode 2, but it is the second episode of season 2.
Second video on the YouTube channel.
Oh, yes, and that too. I mean, I hope you guys have all checked out our first video on the YouTube channel. It is an absolute banger, and we're really excited to be moving across that side. Getting straight into it. Premier League has begun officially.
Yeah.
We awaited what? Not long, actually. It was quite a short. It seemed like quite a short.
Couple of weeks.
It was like 3-4 weeks.
Got a little bit of a taste of pre-season.
Yeah, I think the preseason, this past preseason was like one, in my opinion, one of the most covered preseasons. Like,
Yeah,
I saw a lot of preseason stuff. A lot of games were shown on TV and so on and so on.
They had it on I don't know if it was for all clubs, but for United, they were showing the preseason games on the United app.
Yeah, which is
free.
nice.
Just free. That's
Which is
so
massive.
nice.
Yeah, it's huge because
So nice.
during that time you kind of get a little bit of like football withdrawal. You got a little bit of shakes. Wake up in the morning.
But antsy,
Yeah. So
You get to see all of and you get to see like new signings play and stuff, and like weird matchups like United versus Melbourne victory.
some teams that you would never see play each other.
Like, who did we play? Rayo Vallecano.
Yes, that too. Yeah, I mean
And there was weird ones with like Southampton playing like Villarreal and stuff like that.
Yeah,
There
so
was weird ones.
just really nice matchup. So the preseason was really good, but we could not be happier to be back in the Premier League season. There's nothing matches Premier League football. And this weekend it definitely did not disappoint. But we'll get to that later on in our episode today. Today our main segment is going to be talking about our league predictions, our final league standing predictions. We're going to talk about top 6 in the Premier League. We're going to talk about bottom 4 in the Premier League. We'll talk about a few other categories that could pan out throughout the rest of the season, but lots to look forward to. Okay, so moving on to a little bit of news before we carry on. Not much has happened. Obviously, we're saving transfers for our transfer episode, which will happen at the end of August, once the transfer window is finally closed, so that we can just do a bit more of a composed roundup of all the transfers. But at the moment, I think...
Women's Euros.
Yeah, the Women's Euros. So massive congratulations to the Lionesses for pulling out a
Fantastic tournament.
A fantastic tournament, but very much so, I would say, a raunchy final. A bit of a scrappy 2-1
Squeaky bum time, for sure.
Squeaky bum time, to say the least. Honestly, they really had to dig deep against Germany, and I mean, I didn't realize how dominant Germany were in the Women's Euros. I think they won like 9 in a row. Not before this particular Euros, but in one point in time, they had won like 9 years in a row, which is absolutely insane. That's pure dominance. So. For a relatively young, inexperienced Lionesses side, for them to go ahead and do that, they didn't lose a single game, and I think they only conceded 2 goals.
It was 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think they conceded in the semi-final and the final. That was the only time they conceded, which is
that's the goal scorer. Her name escapes me. The winning goal scorer. That goal that she scored I think it was in extra time. She didn't start the game. She got subbed on. It was her first international goal.
Holy shit! Yes, in the Euro final, in extra time. That's huge.
And it was so scrappy, bro.
Yeah, so
off the keeper. It was brilliant though. It's the exact type of final goal that you expect to be scored.
Yeah, that's always how it goes.
Off the keeper bounce, a defender fumbles it, and then she just smacks it in. No aim.
Yeah. So brilliant tournament for them. Football has finally come home and
showing the men how it's done.
Showing that the women can do it too. So massive congratulations to them on that side.
Yeah.
Any other news, lads?
Community Shield.
Yes, Community Shield. So Liverpool outplayed Man City in a very interesting 3-1 win.
Final trophy for Klopp. Final English trophy.
Oh yeah, listen. I mean, he's won everything there is to win in England. So that's massive for him. Honestly, I mean that's a massive achievement. There's not many oaks who can say that they've won absolutely everything available in the country. So and I think one thing that kind of annoys me a little bit about the Community Shield is that a lot of people put it down to just be like a nonsense trophy, a pre-season throwaway trophy that no one cares about. But I don't think people really if you think about it. Both teams, you have to win the FA Cup and you have to win the league in order to be part of the cup. You know, so it's not like some nonsense clubs that just get chucked into it.
It's like the Super Cup. It's the same.
It's literally, you have to pull off an amazing achievement in order to be able to be part of that competition. So yeah, really, really big achievements for both of those teams you're playing, and I think it's one of those games that needs a little bit more respect. And honestly, it's a great way to start the season. You know, it gives a little bit, because generally it's two of the bigger teams who are competing for it. You know, so it gives you a little bit of precedent as to where they're sitting in terms of quality of each other and so on and so on.
Gives you that big clash already from the start.
Exactly.
And even for the actual teams, I mean, the team that wins it gets a little boost. They start the season with a trophy and get a little boost. It's nice.
You literally cannot complain. So
it sucks that Liverpool has to get the boost. But
yeah. I mean, Nunes scoring as well, showing that he's a true scasser.
Yeah, Haaland was most of the season.
Yeah, already. Jeez, he really fluffed that one, honestly.
It's one of those ones where it's actually harder to miss than score.
To score, 100%.
And I don't know how he's rose that shot. Like, he wasn't that far away to be able to hit it that far over the post anyway.
He really just laced it and just lost control. Alvarez getting on the score sheet, which is good, massive for him.
Impressive display, honestly. I must say, I didn't expect him to feature already at this point in the season as much as he has. So.
Yeah, I mean, he even played in the Premier League game. He came on for Haaland as well. So yeah, but we'll get to the Premier League later on. News? I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
There's not much else to say in terms of
the news. Otherwise, there's been tons of transfers, tons of speculation, but we'll cover that all in the transfer video.
We'll get there.
Podcast.
Okay, so that is all for our news segment. Moving on to our main segment for today, I'll remind you that it is our Premier League table prediction. So how we'll run it is we're going to go through a whole bunch of different categories. We're going to go through the top 6, who we think is going to finish in the top 6, where and where. Then we'll go for the bottom 4. So we'll go from just outside relegation and through relegation spots. Then we're going to say which manager do we think is going to be sacked first. Then we're going to say who do we think is going to be the breakout player of the season. So one particular player who's really going to have their first major season of Premier League football. And then we think one player who has got a lot of hype around them but will almost definitely flop. So 5 subcategories in our predictions. Let's go for it, Sash.
Okay, so we're going top 6 first.
Okay, top 6.
I'm gonna go from 6th upwards.
Okay, so going from bottom up.
Yeah, going from bottom up. And in 6th, I've got Manchester. I've got Chelsea. I have a Chelsea in 6th.
I heard a little bit of a slip up there.
There's a little bit of a slip up because I'm a little concerned after that first game. I'm a little concerned, and this does. In my mind, it depends on transfers, and I'm backing the boys essentially as a United fan by saying United 5th.
Yeah.
I think it could go either way, and I think if Chelsea bring back maybe a reliable centre-back, potentially a striker, they definitely get 5th. I think if United make some good signings, a good midfielder, maybe a backup, maybe a right winger, I don't know. We could get 5th. So it could go either way still at this point, but I'm backing the boys. Not impressed with Chelsea's back line or their front line.
Koulibaly did look thin against Everton. He didn't look...
It was a solid first display, but like he's going to need some adjustment.
Listen, it's not Napoli Koulibaly. It's not. You know, and
how old is he now?
He's 30. I believe he's 30 on the dot.
That's when you've got a 30-year-old Koulibaly there. How old is 37 as your starting pair.
And on the bench you got Chalobah and Sarr.
It's not a 38-game start.
Literally. There's always.
But yeah, so Chelsea in 6th, United in 5th. Then in 4th, I've got Arsenal. I'm really impressed with their transfer business. I think Gabby Jesus is looking a stellar signing. Even then, other than Jesus, I mean, bringing back, what's his name? Saliba from loan. Huge for them. Zinchenko signing on the left back, left centre back, CDM. He can play anywhere. He's so class. I think it's just all been good stuff. Backup goalkeeper, getting rid of Leno, bringing in a backup goalkeeper. That's
Matt Turner's okay.
He's okay. He does the job. I like the transfer business. And then in 3rd, it comes down more to manager than transfers here. I just think Conte is going to absolutely bang. I think it's going to be Tottenham. Obviously not enough to catch up to Liverpool and City. The gap's just too big. But I think Tottenham are easy 3rd this season in my mind. Good signings, really, really solid signings, especially with depth. And obviously Conte is a ridiculously good manager.
He's really good. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he gets results in games where he just shouldn't get results.
Yeah, straight up.
So I like it. Finally, someone to replace Son or Kane when either of them gets injured. I feel like they've needed that for so long. So they've got Richarlison. I hate Richarlison with the burning passion.
He's a dose. He's a straight dose.
But he's a good backup left winger and backup striker. So it's a good signing from them. Then coming into second, I've got Liverpool. I just think that there are more things that need to go wrong for them to need to go right for them to win the league than for City. Which obviously I have City in first. It's the boring one, but it's obvious. So that's my predictions.
100%. Okay, so Sashi, you've gone with City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, United, and Chelsea. Top six. Fantastic. Luke, what you got? What you backing up here, boy?
Okay, I'll also going from sixth. I'm actually going to put United.
Bad first game.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, maybe it's just recency bias after that first game, and things definitely can get better. And it's still just just under a month now left in the transfer window, so anything can happen.
So true.
But I think United are still at that very beginning phase of transition into Ten Hag's philosophy and style and all that.
Yeah.
Whereas the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal already have almost a set team.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's still about a month left in the transfer window. I think United, we brought in three or four players. I think we still need another 3-4 more players.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think that'll happen. Obviously, you saw a little Ronaldo problem. If you can call it a problem. I mean, it's a problem that scores goals for us, but nevertheless.
Yeah.
I think for United, I think a Europa League win is something that we should focus more on than the league this season.
Sure. I couldn't agree more.
I think that's more achievable for us. And then fifth, Chelsea. I think even with all the ongoings happening at the club and also not fantastic business of letting go of some big players as well, I think they still have a better core squad overall.
Yeah.
I think they could do some more signings than another world-class younger centre-back, proper strikers, as we've already mentioned. But I think they still have lots of quality in that team that can still get to reach in the top four, but I don't think they'll break into it just yet because I do think Arsenal will get fourth. I think they do have gotten all those little puzzle pieces in where they needed, and I think only one thing that will hold them back for me is that CDM position. I think currently, it's only Partey you have there that's really of quality, and I think he gets injured. It's possible he can get injured.
I mean, it was a big thing last season.
And we even saw last season how much it affected them. So I think that one little injury there could be detrimental to midfield.
I think there was some crazy stat. It was like games won with like game percentage won with Partey. It was like 75% or something. Games won without Partey, it was dropped all the way down to like 35 or something. It was insane.
He is pretty crucial.
He's massive. Yeah, he's huge.
So now, and I think in terms of they're still a little ways away from challenging for that top three, but I think they're still a ways ahead of United and Chelsea. And then third, we're in Spurs. I think they've made some fantastic signings, and especially looking at this weekend's games, some of those signings popping up and doing fantastically for them. I think they do actually have a chance at the title.
Sure.
But I think that very much depends on a City and Liverpool wobble. I think something has to go wrong there because I think Spurs are good, but I don't think they 100 points team good yet.
Liverpool started off shaky already. I mean,
very true. Listen, I think if Spurs can keep it going with their big win this opening weekend, I think they can push for that second place as well.
Honestly.
And then big one, Kane needs to stay fit. Because he did see a bit of a resurgence towards the end, but I think if he can stay fit and no more drama, I think he can find that rhythm again.
100%.
Then obviously top two, Liverpool second, City first. Probably very predictable. But I think what makes a difference for Liverpool secondly, I think, especially now losing like Mane, I think you'll struggle to find his best 11, especially in that front line.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
They have a lot of depth up there and a lot of quality, but trying to find who works the best or might hold them back. Whereas City, I think it's undoubtedly exactly who's starting.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah, City just, I think
taking away.
Yeah, I think it's same squad that basically from last season that won the league. And they've just strengthened it. So
yeah, they've only gotten better.
Yeah.
Okay, so Luke, you've got City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, United. Only one change from Sasha.
Yeah.
But validated. Okay, so I'm gonna go top down. I'm gonna go first to sixth. Surprise, surprise. I think City are gonna win it. I mean,
it's getting boring now.
I mean, yeah, I wish I could say it's getting boring, but I'm really excited to see Haaland De Bruyne. I mean, Haaland 2 goals against West Ham.
We got a bit of a glimpse of it already.
De Bruyne with an absolutely sumptuous through ball, and Haaland the finish.
Oh, the finish is so clever, bro.
So
clever.
So like it's. I mean, if they can do that once every game, they literally need to make one good pass, one good finish every game, and you might. Yeah, that's the League One. All day. So I'm gonna say City top. I did change my opinion for the longest time. I had Liverpool second. I'm putting Tottenham second. So Tottenham got 6 points of City last season and 2 points of Liverpool last season. City have undoubtedly strengthened their team, but so have Tottenham. Liverpool haven't really. They've done enough, but they haven't strengthened their team.
Yeah.
Tottenham have definitely strengthened their team. So I can see Tottenham getting 4 points of City and 6 points of Chelsea. 6 points of Liverpool this season. And I mean, that's 6 points. If all of their results go exactly the same, that's 6 points you've got ahead of Liverpool. And I mean, I made this point. I didn't make this point, but I spoke about this point to you guys. That in my head, arguably 1-for-1. Considering all of the factors, I think that Tottenham's squad is better than Liverpool's at the moment.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
So, like, if we consider age, if we consider the current performance, if we consider positional, if we consider depth as well, I think Tottenham actually has a better squad.
I think Tottenham win midfield and attack. I think Liverpool win defence and goalkeeper.
I still think the defence is close.
Tottenham's got a very young defence now. I mean, you look at like Sessegnon, Sanchez, Romero.
I think Romero is the second best centre back in the league.
Oh yeah,
he's good.
He's behind Van Dijk, and Van Dijk looked like a fool against Fulham. So I think Liverpool are going to struggle this season. I think Tottenham are going to have a mad resurgence. So I'm putting Tottenham second, and then third Liverpool, because I still think I think if we're looking at throughout the squads, I think they have the best 3 squads. Liverpool have a really good mixture of experience and youth. Maybe a little bit too much experience. I think, in my opinion, I think they could replace a couple of their older options with younger players.
They need to revitalise that midfield, I think.
100%. But I mean, going forward, Nunez is a tank. I think he got lucky against Fulham to score that goal.
Yeah.
That was pure luck. But I mean, he was there. He was in the right spot.
Yeah.
I think Trent getting his head dunked on by Mitrovic is going to be a common sight.
He essentially got teabagged.
He should not be a defender. Trent should be a midfielder. 100%.
It's interesting because Nick Bart made a point to me. And he hasn't been on the podcast yet, so you guys won't know him. But
City fan.
He made an interesting point to me. He's a City fan. And it was when we had the podcast with Lexi. And he said that he found it very silly that she was saying that Trent should move into midfield. Because his point was, you have the best right back in the world and you don't want him to play right back. And I was like, that's fair, actually. It is fair.
I think Trent only works as a right back in Liverpool.
Yeah. Yes.
Any other team, he works as a midfielder.
100%. I think my thing is, I feel like he would also thrive at a 3 in the back. If he's playing as almost as an extra defender rather than a primary defender, he does a lot better because he still has to defend, which he can do to a certain extent. But if you're depending on him to save goals, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
You know. So like, yeah, it's tough.
It's
I
interesting.
think
I really like him and I rate him, but I don't think he's a good defender.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, Karen, sorry, that was a tangent.
Yeah, no. You were saying?
I know. I was saying. I think if you put him in that same role that Reece James plays, that's Chelsea.
Much better.
Much better.
You know, much better. Yeah. So City, Tottenham, Liverpool at the moment. Then I'm going to go with Arsenal. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
We're reaching almost at the peak of that rebuilding phase. You know, it's taken us since 17-18 to build up from there. So it's just, I think we're getting really close to the best team we've had in almost 20 years.
Yeah. The squad's looking great, yeah.
I'm really happy with it. Obviously, you can always improve. On any team, you can always improve.
It's also a very young squad, so
this is the thing.
The team will improve.
The average age is like 25.
Yeah.
You know, I think our oldest defender is Suarez, who's 30. Yeah. You know, the next oldest is 26, which is Holding.
I think the difference is that they don't start.
That's exactly it. Holding and Suarez are definitely backups.
Yeah.
So obviously, I could see a little bit more depth in the right back position because obviously we started Ben White against Palace, and I thought he was a little bit too central. Could definitely do with another DM, but at the moment I think the team's really, really good. I don't think it's better than the top three, but I think it's still really good. I think we're going to pump some oaks.
Also, I think you've gotten to the point now where it's just squad depth that you need.
Yeah.
First 11.
Quality's happy. Yeah. You know. Then 5 and 6, very similar to other boys. I don't really need to validate my point. Chelsea 5th, United 6th. I think Chelsea are in a weird position. I think they're in an awkward place in their existence at the moment. Obviously, just changed owners. Things aren't going too well. Last season last season plenty of oaks pegged them to win the league.
Yeah.
And then they flopped in most terms of the word. They flopped. You know, they weren't good. Considering who they had, considering the potential, they really stuffed it up. So I think Tuchel isn't going to do enough. I think he's a decent manager, but I don't think he's good enough to do any better than 5th. And then United, unfortunately, I think you're in a very similar position that Arsenal was 5 years ago. You know, where things have really fallen apart all of a sudden. In the past 2 seasons, things have really gone to shit, and now you have to endure it. You know, you have to go through all the cuck. Because it can't be good always. You know,
we're almost in a more awkward phase than Chelsea somehow.
Yeah.
I think also our big issue is that we go through this rebuilding phase every 2 seasons.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like it's almost too much. It's too rushed.
Yeah.
You know, I think the problem is that there's a massive expectation on you guys, and you almost need to take the hit and say, hold up, let's take some time. Let's take some real time. Let's take the hit for 3 seasons. Let's do shit. Let's not have European football, and then let's go from there.
Because you look at last season, we're touted to challenge for the title.
I put you guys to win the title.
Yeah,
you know, what?
I wanted us to win the title. Ludicrous. Really wanted us to win the title.
Yeah, so the hope is there.
So my top 6: City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, United.
Perfect. So we basically agree. Like one or two changes.
It's pretty much the same, but I think
I have more faith in United than the other boys.
Yeah. Just a little, they have the thing is they have the means. It just depends if they actually apply it. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so moving on to bottom 4 now. Okay, so our bottom 4, Lukey, you got bottom 4, bud.
Okay, I'm gonna start rock bottom 20th. Now, I honestly, relegation zones are a lot more up for debate than top 6.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's a lot of crap teams, really. But that being said, I don't think they are a crap team, but I do think they will finish bottom. It is Bournemouth. But what it comes down to for me is that just depth in the squad, and there's too much reliance on individual players, and especially Solanke up front. I mean, you got 29 goals and 7 assists in 46 appearances last season. And he scored almost 49% of the team's goals.
Yes,
listen, he was literally the pivot, bro. Like
I knew that he scored a lot, but I didn't realize it was almost 50%.
Almost half of the team's goals last season. That's one little injury, and that's half of the goals gone. I think I did do some research and watch a couple games from the championship, and I think obviously Championship is a different type of league.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think the possession style of play is it's a bit too slow for the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think you almost need to ramp it up a bit, which I think they definitely can.
Sure.
But I think the current style of play, I think it might not suit the league at the moment. And then just going on that, I think obviously Premier League is not very physical, and they have only scored 11 set pieces last season.
Sure.
And scored 0 counter-attacking goals. Not a single counter-attacking goal.
Holy shit.
That's really strange.
It's a bit.
That's
it was a very.
strange.
I had to double check it because it was.
How do you even not accidentally score a counter-attacking goal?
Score a counter-attack.
I think it just shows because they're so much better than most of the teams in the Championship that they just had.
They just kept the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just always had the ball. Yeah.
I think 20th for them. 19th, Fulham. I think same like Bournemouth. I think their survival really lies upon just one man, and it's Mitrovic.
Yeah.
Also, same thing. One little injury, there goes 70% of their goals basically.
I mean, as much as he performed against Liverpool, if you have a decent right back, he's not scoring that first goal. And then the penalty was a very close one. So
I think I saw a stat that apparently for players coming up out of the Championship, that they seem to only score around 25% of the goals that they scored in the Championship.
That's intense.
I mean, even then, he's got 15 goals, 15, 20 goals.
Yeah, that's decent.
It's not bad.
I think the way they do play, I think they will obviously go at teams very much like Leeds. Like they would try to outscore rather than not concede.
Yeah.
So it'll be a fun team to watch.
Thanks.
But I just don't think they'll have enough to stay in it. Then just above them, just going down, put in Everton.
Sure.
I think they're a dog shit team with a dog shit manager. Although I remember not too long ago I remember saying Frank Lampard would do well there. Take that back.
Take my mind.
Last season, in the 21-22 season, they finished 3 points off a European position. And look at where they are now.
That's insane, eh?
Touted for relegation.
That is actually insane.
Who was there? Angelotti was
Yes, big eyebrow.
Yeah. I mean,
he deserved that Real Madrid spot. Sure.
The squad is just filled with players who are well past their best years. Yeah. I mean, he's likes of Dele Alli, he's just finished.
Comes on as a sub, does nothing,
Bro, they're relying on Dele Alli, Demarai Gray, and Andros Townsend. Right. It's so what is this? 2015.
They're looking like an MLS club playing there to retire. Big wages and just not producing. Still haven't replaced Richarlison, who was literally
their goal
scorer. Still haven't replaced Lucas Digne, who was their main assister.
Yeah.
So I don't know where anything's going to come from. Signing the likes of Tarkowski and McNeil, good signings, but definitely not enough.
They just closed up on a Cody deal as well.
Yeah.
Cody, which is crazy.
Burnley got relegated and they signed 2 Burnley players.
Actually, and speaking of Burnley, a little my prediction. I think Sean Dyche will come in.
That would be so sick. I would love it.
He's already got Tarkowski and McNeil. He's sorted.
Yeah, literally bringing the squad back together.
Oh, I'd love it.
He'll kick Dele Alli out so quickly, bro.
Yes. Creative? Get out of here. Nothing. Can you hoof it?
Everybody line up. Get the forklift licenses out.
Everybody show me your Instagram profiles. One good fit, you're out.
Cheers.
And then just surviving relegation, I'm going to put Southampton.
Sure.
I think there will be another 9-0 this season.
Every season.
It's Arsenal this season. It's Arsenal's 10-9.
I mean, just looking at last season, they did finish 15th. They had won one game and out of their last 12.
No way.
And they only picked up 5 points from their last 12 games.
5 points from the last 12.
They ended up with a negative 21 goal difference.
Oh my god.
And their opening 5 games include facing Spurs, Leicester, Chelsea, and United.
They can't keep getting away with it.
They
actually can't.
It's absolutely
They have made some very good recruitments, but they have all been like youngsters, like really young guys.
Yeah.
So
They basically just said, City under 21 team, you are now ours.
that is
Thank you.
literally what they did. So nothing to improve the first team, but I think, I think they're better than all the teams below them. So I think they'll just make it.
Okay. Lekker. So, Luke, you've gone with Southampton 17th, Everton 18th, Fulham 19th, and Bournemouth 20th.
Yeah.
Cool. Josh, let's go for it.
Okay, so slightly similar to Luke. I'm starting off with Bournemouth, rock bottom, dead last, dead football club.
Sure. Recording with the resident Bournemouth fan in the room, holding back the tears.
Okay.
Did you have anything to say about that?
Nah, I really just think they're way below everyone else in terms of quality, at least. Like quality of players, quality of depth of squad. I think they'll do excellent in the championship next season. Like, you're gonna smash it, bro. Record points, 100 points in the championship, sorted. But yeah, no, unfortunately they're going down. And then next in 19th, I'm going Everton.
Sure.
They're that bad, in my opinion.
That bad.
I really don't like Frank Lampard as a manager. I remember when there was the Arteta Ollie Lampard debate.
Sure.
And I think we've established clearly that Lampard is bottom of the debate.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no question.
At least.
Absolutely no question.
But yeah, no, I don't like the fact that they sold Richarlison. I don't like the fact that Allen is aging, Decore is aging. I don't like the fact that they're relying on an unfit Calvert-Lewin. The signing of McNeil's decent, but he's not going to bring goals. He's just going to bring kind of quality almost.
Yeah.
And the signing of Tarkowski's good. I love that signing. Big fan of that. But that's about it, honestly. In left back, Mikalenko is not good enough. Don't they still have Coleman and right back?
Yeah,
nonsense.
Yeah.
Nonsense. You're getting nowhere in a Premier League season with that.
It's like 40 now.
Literally. Like, their midfield is fucking Decore, Allen, Dele Alli.
Allen didn't start, Dele Alli didn't start against Chelsea.
What a trash midfield. Even if that is the midfield size is garbage. It sucks. But yeah, no, I think they just won't have enough this season. And maybe if they replace Frank Lampard before the next transfer window and the next manager comes in and makes some good signings, I can see them staying up. But for now, in the current form, based on that first game, garbage.
Yeah.
Then in 18th, I have Fulham. I do think they will go down. I think as good as Mitrovic might be this season, if he is even that good, it won't be enough. Even if he does, I think, have a banging season. I think relying on Andreas Pereira to keep you up is just the worst gamble I've ever seen in my life. It's like betting your life savings on Southampton not conceding 9 goals. No, it's terrible. And it's 10 goals. He scored. Andreas Pereira has played like 10 seasons of professional football, and he scored 10 goals, bro. It's garbage in easy leagues.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's like he scores a banger once every 3 seasons.
He played in Spain. He played in Brazil. I mean, he's
Serie A, I believe.
Yeah, he's played in Serie A for a little bit as well. Yeah, he's nonsense. He really has done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's keeping him going is literally good as Brazilian.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. They're relying on Harry Wilson and Mitrovic having a good season.
Sure. Literally,
it's nothing. Like they lost. What's his name? Fabio Carvalho as well. Yeah. They have their actual like defense and goalkeepers. They're not that good. I don't see it happening. Then just narrowly escaping relegation, I've got Leeds.
Sure.
I've said it before. My opinion hasn't changed. Bunch of mid-ass American players.
Yeah.
A mid-ass American manager. No spine.
Yeah.
Patrick Bamford had one good season. That's it. they're going to be absolutely bare minimum good to stay in the league. And that's it, yeah.
Sure. Okay, so you've gone Leeds 17, Fulham 18, Everton 19, Bournemouth 20. 100%. Okay, so I've gone quite different. I mean, not quite different. It's like relatively the same. My first start is I don't think Bournemouth are going to get relegated. So I'm going to go 17. And as much as this might be a personal and a bit of a heartfelt choice, I really do think they have a lot of fight in them. You know, and against a really good Aston Villa side, I think they held their own. And I mean, it wasn't just like a 1-0 scrappy win. You know, the first goal, fair, was a bit dead. But I mean, they held out. They absolutely crunched Coutinho. Ings had no shot. Watkins came on, did nothing. You know, Kamara was quiet as well. And they scored a second. You know, I think their squad is thin, and I think they'll struggle. And it's not going to be fun in games. They're going to battle out until the last day, definitely. But they're definitely finishing 17th for me. I think they're just outside there. I think they survive another one. Whether they survive the next season depends on what where they decide to invest with the money that they get from staying in the Premier League. But yeah, I think obviously watching them in the Championship and stuff, they do have a bit of adapting to do. I think their play style with their position play style does need to adapt a bit more. But I think they have what it takes.
I think a couple counters in there, bro.
Yeah, listen, get some counter goals and it'll actually be okay. You know,
it's a long ball.
Yeah. Because I mean, listen, Mark Tavernier played against Aston Villa, champion. Such a good. He had such a blinder. You know, awesome signing. I didn't rate him previously, but I think he's a great signing. They just signed Senesi now from Feyenoord, who's also, I mean, he's touted to be a really, really good Argentinian centre back, and we've seen Argentinian centre backs are blessing. I mean, Lisandro Martinez, Romero, they do well in the Premier League. You know, so I have faith for him to do well. Loma, you know, is good. I think the fact that they played Solanke and Kiefer Moore together is a really good sign as well, because last season was one or the other. You know, I think they actually work better for both of them. Yeah. Because if
that classic 4-4-2.
Yeah, listen, honestly, and you know, they're both massive unit boys. I mean, Kiefer Moore is huge. He's like 7 foot. He's crazy big, you know. Scored a banging header against Aston Villa, and if he can just keep like getting in the right areas and stuff, you know, I think he can be really, really good. So not a great season, but I think they're surviving. Okay. Underneath them, I think it's going to be Brentford.
Oh,
I don't rate Brentford's chances. I think Brentford are
even with
shaky.
Mikel Damsgaard
to come in. I don't think he's going to do that much. I think they're trying to plug that Eriksen hole.
Big hole to plug.
Yeah.
Well, he plugged Eriksen's hole in the Euros. Damsgaard, to be fair. So I don't think they're going to do enough. I think they're going to struggle in the big games. They might get a couple points against the smaller sides, but I think they're going to get pumped from anyone from 10 and above. You know, I think if the Newcastles are going to give them, West Ham's are going to give them, I think Everton might even second season syndrome too.
You know, so it's a bold call because they do have a decent side. They definitely do. Yeah. But I think people like Joshua Da Silva, you know, and
didn't they sign that Mark Rocker?
I think they did.
Yeah. And that's a big signing.
It could be.
It could be.
Either could be or it could be an absolute.
That also didn't they sign Strakosha?
They did, but he's not gonna. He's a backup to Raya, which
even
Raya's
still,
a good keeper.
That's good depth
keeper,
in goalkeeper.
So there's potential, but to me, they just don't.
So it's almost a 50-50 with these money ball signing.
Exactly, you know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Below them, for me, Wolves. I think Wolves have done absolute disaster.
I can see it.
They signed yet another Korean forward because their previous Korean forward worked so well for them. You know, I mean, he must have scored maximum 5 goals.
I think so.
I also am very keen on the signing of Guedes.
Guedes, yeah.
Guedes is a good signing.
It could either unlock them or it could just be
the thing is, they made one good signing and some terrible outgoings. So
you know, the thing is, they just lost Connor Cody. You know, they might still lose Neves. Traore is back, but I don't.
He does not want to be there.
I don't think he wants to.
They tried to back four in preseason and flopped.
Yeah.
You know, they lost a 1-0 lead against Leeds. You know, so I don't see them doing much.
Jimenez isn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
This season.
So I'm really not excited for what they have. And I think if they lose one more big player, I think they're stuffed.
I think they'll be below 15th minimum.
Yeah.
Like minimum.
You know, I don't think
15.
they're breaking the top half.
Yeah.
You know, definitely not. Yeah. They should be doing better. You know, I mean, Podence dead signing, Trinchao dead signing. You know, like they need goals, and unless Guedes is going to bring that, no one else is going to.
Yeah.
So, and then for me, dead last, it's going to be Forest.
Very interesting.
I think they've pulled a
Quick one.
Fulham 1890, where they've gone and spent 100 million, and I don't think they've been smart enough. I mean, sure, you signed Jesse Lingard. Okay, who's going to score the goals that Jesse Lingard's going to provide? You know, Surridge.
Well, Lingard's more of a...
Bro, Surridge didn't even cut it for Bournemouth. I mean, you've got to be...
Lingard's more of a goal scorer than a provider.
You know,
I'll give him that.
Even so, you know, like they're signing big players.
I like Dean Henderson on loan. I think that's big.
They're young players, but I don't think they're... Again, with promoted sides, I almost feel like they need patches. Yeah. You know, they need plasters for now. Survive the first season. Then get that cash injection, then you can start looking at young oaks. Yeah. I can see the ambition, I can understand the ambition, but I think the problem is you almost can't go to inexperienced. Yeah. You have to have really proven guys in that area. So I think they're splashy, but fair, losing to a good Newcastle side. It's nothing to be upset about. But I think they were very, very weak.
Look, it's bold of you to go only one of the promoted sides getting relegated. Yeah. That's bold from you, but it could be.
I think Fulham are going to do enough. I think that 17th spot is really tough for me because I think it's
tough for me. It is like Leeds, Everton, Southampton.
That's the thing. There's to me anyone between Southampton, Everton and Fulham could still be in the bottom table.
I think the lowest person in the table I had personally, the lowest team in the table that's not relegation threatened, in my opinion, is Brentford.
Yeah.
But that was just my personal ranking. And I think they'll get like top 10.
Yeah.
So
my bottom four is completely different to the gents. I've gone with Bournemouth, Brentford, Wolves and Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
So top 6 bottom fours. Okay, moving on to our next piece, which is then our sacked first. Who's going to get sacked first, lads? Sasha?
So I'm glad that you asked me first because it kind of ties in with your predictions. I'm going with Bruno Lage. I think I was very unimpressed with them at the tail end of last season. I think the football was so terrible. Like, it was worse than Nuno Espirito Santos football. It was much worse. I couldn't watch a Wolves game, even when my team was playing. I was like, I can't watch this. I don't like. They lost Traore. They're replacing him now with Guedes, but it's a bit late and it's his first season, so it's it's not good. Trincao did nothing. Jimenez, he's just not the same after the head injury, as shit as that is to say.
It is.
Neto is like a 5-goal a season winger. Max. Ruben Neves is the only player really that I rate now at Wolves, I'll be honest. Other than Jose Sa, obviously. But I think they're not going to start well, and they already ended badly last season. Their preseason wasn't great. Now they're going to start badly,
which they have. I mean, one loss already, against Leeds, which is not great.
Against Leeds, which is someone who they should be beating. I think the board, given the fact that they're Wolves and they have recently finished well within the top 10, the board will be expecting at least around top 10, and the results won't go that way. They'll get a bit antsy, get a bit trigger happy. Sack Bruno Lage, see if they can pick up some extra points.
I think that's pretty straightforward. I think if things don't go better soon, I think it's going to be on their mind. For my prediction, I'm saying Lampard because he's shit and he's got a shit team and he's not going to do well. He's just going to get battered and bruised. And Everton are relatively trigger happy. So I think they'll Also, I just really want to see Sean Dyche, man. I really want to see Sean Dyche. Please bring him back. Bring back the big boy. So yeah, Lampard for me, really simple, nothing crazy about it. Again, most of these choices are like personal, it's like gut feeling. But go with your gut. So Lampard, cheers, buddy. Luke.
Lampard was my first choice, but then after watching this weekend's games, I think I'm gonna go for Steven Gerrard.
Sure.
I think almost if you look at it, what he's done, if you look at his signings, especially even ones that have, like ones on loan, like Coutinho last season, have now signed a permanent deal.
Yeah.
Look at Robin Olsen, 32 years old. Coutinho is 30. Diego Carlos, Lucas Digne, 29. Callum Chambers, 27. I think the only exception is Kamara, who's 22, 23.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's literally signed experienced players on massive wages.
Yeah.
So I think Aston Villa now has the seventh highest wage bill in the league.
Holy shit.
7th.
So
yeah. I almost think he has his eye on maybe in that Liverpool job.
Yeah.
Because I don't with signings like this, that's like United type of signing.
Actually,
players on massive wages. And I mean, that opening game, which we'll talk about, also it just wasn't good. I think
it was almost like he didn't do enough managing.
Yeah.
He kind of put a team out, told them his tactic, and it was like, it didn't go well. And they're like, sorry.
He almost got through in that first season purely on the fact that he used Steven Gerrard. Players wanted to impress Steven Gerrard, but now they've kind of seen his level of tactics and his quality as a manager, which I don't think is it's that much higher than the likes of Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
I think he's. I don't think he's planning on staying there for much longer either. So
even at Rangers, he wasn't that good, to be fair. I mean, who did he beat? Angie Postecoglou.
Okay. The thing is as well, like he won what he won. I think he won one Rangers league title and the Scottish Cup, and he was there for 3-4 seasons. So he's actually
he joined the second best team there.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's between them and Celtic. Celtic have one off season, and you won the title. So.
And it's literally what happened. They had an off-season, a little bit of a transition period.
And
that's it.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So, that's a good shout, actually. I like that. I like the sound of that. Okay, so then breakout player of the season. Who do we think is going to break out? I'm going to start this one off. I'm going to say Jordan Smurrow. I think fullbacks. Premier League loves fullbacks, man. Fullbacks thrive in the Premier League. It's just how it works. They really they look good, and teams they allow for that type of play to work. And if he can be utilized properly, I think he's brilliant. I think he's born with one of Bournemouth's best players. He's really young, as well. I think he can also. I think he not drags, but I think he it brings a level of energy and so on to that Bournemouth side, where lots of it is very championship mentality to a certain degree, where it's quite slow. It's very you suppress a lot of pressure. So I think he changes that with a lot of that energy up and down the wings. I think he really could be someone to look at and look out for the rest of the season. So Zamora for me. Luke, what do you guys?
I'm actually calm. I have two players, and I don't know which one to go for now. I don't know if they're both City players.
Oh, okay.
But, okay, I'm going to go Zinchenko.
Okay.
I think he was, obviously played for City already, played quite a lot for them, but I think he was undervalued and underestimated at City. I think he was one of the players that kind of got washed over by the enormous amounts of talents at City. I mean, so they're starting Mendy over him.
Yeah.
I think Mendy was absolute dog water for them.
Nonce.
No, it was terrible.
And I think literally just him moving to Arsenal, I mean, it's perfect level for him. I think he is exactly what they need in terms of creativity from the back, because I think that is something that only really Tierney gave you.
Yeah.
But I think he just brings a bit more quality than Tierney.
I think he also he's going to stay fit.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of Zinchenko ever getting injured.
No.
So I think he starts. Tierney's a great backup.
I genuinely think he's the same level as Tierney as far as ability goes.
Yeah. I think he has the ability to surpass Tierney.
Oh, easily.
Simply because of how injured Tierney gets.
I think also even quality going forward and backwards he has. I think especially that quality going forward. I mean, just to take off some of the responsibility from the likes of Odegaard and Saka to supply, obviously, Jesus now, who, I mean, I'm sure they know each other very well from City, so hopefully they can get a bit of a little link up going there. But I think, very, very exciting.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sash,
I've been saying this for a while. It's a player I've been watching for quite some time, for about a season or two now. And it's Boubacar Kamara. Another position that the Premier League loves, CDMs.
Loves, but does not have enough of.
Doesn't have enough of at all. But they always do well when they are there. I think I've been watching this player for a while because I knew that his contract was coming up. I knew he was doing bits at Marseille alongside Guendouzi up front, in front of Saliba. You know, I knew he was doing bits there. So I had my eye on him every time I could watch a Marseille game. I did. And I think he's class. I honestly do. He's got a brilliant range of passing. His defensive positioning is really impressive for a young player. Obviously, Aston Villa signed him on a free. It was a position they really needed to free up. They needed to get someone quality in there to protect their backline, settle the backline, let the fullbacks go forward. So even if his performances aren't that good, the difference that having a CDM in that team does to Villa will be enough to make him a breakout player, I think.
So I think they had the Camper in there. Marvellous.
Yeah.
Listen, gotta love the Zimbabwean dude, man. He just wasn't. He was great.
I never even played him.
He's bits on career mode.
Yeah, facts.
But yeah, I think he's good. He's French. He was linked previously with Chelsea and Manchester United. He was going on a free. Doesn't command huge wages, and his passing stats, he's in the 97th percentile for passing stats among defensive midfielders. His long balls, I think he averaged 3 final third entries with his passes per game last season. 3. That's more than basically the entire Aston Villa squad combined.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For long balls.
That's like Rodri.
Yeah, it's ridiculous long balls. The accuracy was good on the passing. I just think he's going to do well, basically.
Okay, so our breakout players, I've gone with Zamora. You've gone with? Kamara, and Luke, you've gone with? Zinchenko. Okay, honestly, I think all 3 of those players are going to be banging.
Honestly, I think they'll all be
massive boys. Okay, so now obviously it's customary with the breakout play, we have to choose who's going to be our flop of the season. So, Sash, who's going to be your flop?
I think this is a fairly straightforward one, so I won't go into too much, but I think it's going to be Jesse Lingard.
Sure.
I think 1-year signing shows absolutely no commitment to the club. He's on the fattest wages that club has ever paid anyone, by a long margin. He hasn't played consistent Premier League football for an entire season now, and before then, maybe even a season or two before that, he didn't play. West Ham was a definite purple patch. Whenever he played at United, he looked dead, sluggish, slow, not bothered. I think he'll score like a maximum of like 5 goals. He'll do a couple sick dances. They'll get close to the relegation zone. He'll still be dancing away and causing shit in the dressing room. I think it's just a garbage signing. Financially, dressing room wise, performance wise, I think it doesn't work on any level.
Well, I did see a thing, and apparently it was clever. I saw Gary Neville talking about how he has only signed a 1-year deal with them. So he knows that they're going to go down, or they're going to do terribly, and he's going to get out of it.
He's going to kick.
Yeah, that's what I said. No commitment. There's no commitment.
Yeah, that's terrible. You don't like that. That's the type of player who gets 10 games into the season, sees the writing on the wall, and he just does not want to play the rest of the season. He's like, sick, don't start me. Fuck off.
Yeah, just collect his 200k a week, easy.
Literally.
And
dude.
He doesn't. I don't even think he has an option in the contract that I've heard of for an extension, a negotiation to extend. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's Eriksen's contract at Brentford, but Eriksen's one was just because Brentford wasn't sure that Eriksen would perform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've gone with Koulibaly.
Big shout.
I think he's just too old. I think if he had made the transfer to Chelsea 3 seasons ago,
when he was going to join United 3 seasons ago,
I think that was his time. I think he got way too cozy at Napoli, and I think he almost got. It sounds ridiculous, but I almost think he got too cozy with being mediocre.
Complacent.
Complacent.
He was happy with finishing 5th with Napoli every season, and that was just it. I don't think he has enough of a fighting spirit. I think he's gonna get dribbled past and gassed out every second week. He might body a couple guys, but the bigger dudes are gonna bully him. I don't see him making a good tackle.
Holland's gonna weight him so hard, bro.
There's so many attackers who are just gonna absolutely. Mitrovic is gonna.
Chris Wood even more
crunch him. So all the techers are just gonna go absolutely wild around him. And I think also it comes down to the fact that Chelsea don't play like their centre backs almost don't make tackles. You kind of expecting Kante and all your midfielders to do most of the aggressive work. They're kind of almost just in the way.
The only real tackling centre back was Rudiger.
Yeah, and Rudiger's outro now.
Yeah.
So Thiago Silva might take over that spot, but I don't think if they expect Koulibaly to do it, I don't think he's going to do it well.
If they sign for Fane, he'll take over the tackling.
That's true. If they do that, oh god.
If he's fit,
that's a whole different. That's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. But I think Koulibaly is a bit of a. Yeah, it's a panic buy.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, who's your flop, buddy?
Sure. This will be debatable. I'm going to go Haaland.
Sure.
And I'll tell you why. I think he's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
One of the best strikers in the world right now. But he has a terrible injury record.
Is it?
His injury record's bad, eh?
I think it's in the past 2 seasons, he has missed 80 games through injury.
Oh my days.
80 games.
That's a lot.
So, I think literally one little injury will ruin him for the season. And I actually, going back to little breakup play, my other player was actually Alvarez.
Yeah.
I think will do better than Haaland, purely because I think Haaland will pick up an injury. Listen, there's going to be like Tarkowski's going to absolutely 2-foot him. Just absolutely break his leg or something.
Yeah.
And I think if he gets injured, I think that's going to be it for him.
Sure. Okay.
I saw a breakdown. We can use this or not use this on. I think it was either TIFO or Football Daily something. It might have been a Football Daily podcast actually, where they said that like the way Haaland's body works genuinely isn't normal, and like according to his actual height and weight, he should not be able to run anywhere near as fast as he does.
Yeah.
He should be slow. He should be slow. He shouldn't be as agile as he is.
Sure.
So if he doesn't actually adapt his game to suit his actual physique, he's going to keep getting injured. Yeah. So that's one worry.
What I'm saying is that sounds like some Ronaldo shit there. I don't know.
Ronaldo did have to change his
exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. So
he's a lot like Ronaldo actually.
Yeah,
if he gets his physique and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so Jesse Lingard. Okay, I went with Koulibaly, Luke.
Erling Haaland.
Sure, big names there, boys. Big names.
We literally went with 3 of the biggest names in the league.
I'm hoping like what Roy Keane did to Haaland's father back in the day. I want to see Scott McTominay just super and break his leg.
I was about to say if it's anyone, and you know what, he'll get a yellow somehow. I don't know how that kid does it.
100%.
Okay, so that concludes our predictions for the season. Okay, so lots of controversial topics, lots of very straightforward stuff. I think we didn't do too well last year. Last year we stuffed it up a little bit.
I think I said Chelsea would win the league.
Yeah, I said United were going to win the league. Sure, that was an absolute stinky poo bar. So so unfortunately that didn't go too well. Hopefully we've matured a little bit. Probably not. I think we're going to fuck it up again like normal.
Fuck it. You know what? It's going to be fucking Brentford that win the league.
It's conversation to talk about where we went wrong.
Before we know, Bournemouth are going to end up in Europa League spots.
Listen, boys.
Bournemouth versus Frankfurt on a Thursday night.
I love it. Thursday night football. Let's go. Not just moving from Thursday night against Blackpool to Thursday night against Frankfurt. Let's go.
Massive.
I love it. Okay, so yeah, that concludes our this week's episode. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Please remember to check us out on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to check us out on Spotify or Apple Music. Check out our Instagram, like our posts.
Give us a sub.
Give us a sub, come on.
Do the things, engage,
You
bro.
know the things.
We're doing our bit.
Like button.
Smash the like button.
We're doing our bit, you do yours.
Press the bell notification.
Tell us how
You know the
shit
vibes.
those predictions are.
Yeah, tell us your predictions actually. Let's hear what you guys have to say. So we can roast and lambaste you in the comments. And, yeah. Have a good one, guys. Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.